Today I decided to go onto my predator catching account on Roblox and found the most fucking stupid predator I have ever seen in my life. After he got caught, he kept trying to justify it, thinking he wasn't in the wrong, and 90% of what he said didn't make any sense. I think the more I was talking to this guy after he was caught, the dumber I got, even bringing a special guest on who was also dumbfounded by this pedophile. I do not know what was wrong with this guy. When I added him, I started off by saying, "Hey," like always, and he responded with, "Hey, how are you?" So I said what I always say, "I'm good, just bored. How about you?" He responds with, "I was looking for something fun to do. Is it true what your bio says?" And if you're wondering what my bio says, it says, "New account, minor, down for anything." I know that last part is horrendous, but more of them add me if I have that at the end. I legit had 62 friend requests. Anyway, I said, "Yeah, I have a game if you want," and of course he says he has one as well. Then right after that says, "Wanna do it?" Which I was a bit surprised, but I've seen worse, so I said, "Ooh, maybe. How old are you?" Which he then says he's 17, so instead of saying my age is 14 like I normally do, I said I was 13. He then responds with, "If we are both minors, there is no problem, nothing illegal," which it most definitely is. He is just trying to justify it by saying that a 17-year-old and a 13-year-old is a big no-no. After he sent that, I went AFK so I could get some water, and then I come back to him saying, So I said, "Okay, sorry, AFK real quick," which he responded with, "Don't worry, so what game will we use? Let's try out my game, then yours," which obviously we won't be trying out his game since he's walking into my Sting game. The Sting game legit has a wall you can walk through with a cop car behind it, a Chris Hansen chair right at the spawn, but they always miss it. Before you see what happens in the Sting game, I just want to let you know this is where he got very dumb. Almost nothing he said made sense, and all in all, it was very confusing. Good luck. I joined the game and he joined slightly after. I right away said hi and I did a little spin, then went into the fake bedroom and said, "Stay here real quick, I got a TPS, but are you sure it's fine that I'm which he right away responded by saying, "Yeah." So I left the fake bedroom, brought the cop car out and sat in the chair and said, "Come out, take a seat," which he actually took a seat instead of leaving. So I said, "You know what you were trying to do here is illegal, right?" And he says, "How is it illegal? You're 17, trying to have e-sex with a 13-year-old girl on Roblox. You tell me, buddy." Then he says, "I'm a minor. It doesn't matter. A 17-year-old can't do anything sexual with a 13-year-old, even if it's online." So I said, "A 17-year-old and a 13-year-old cannot do this type of stuff or it's illegal." And he says, "As long as no one is a minor, no one has done anything wrong." But just 30 seconds ago, he said, "I'm a minor." So I think he needs to go back to English class, and that's coming from me. And this is where my headache started forming. What is this guy on about? Then I waited 30 seconds more just for this. Nice one, man. So I said, "I would like to see you try to explain yourself, because nothing is getting around this." And he said, "Obviously I can explain." So I suggested he explains it on a call, and his response to that was, "Why should I do that?" So I explained by saying, "So you can try explaining yourself, because what you've said now doesn't mean anything." Once again, he was trying to ERP with a 13-year-old girl on Roblox, and he has the nerve to say, "Are you okay?" to me, and says, "How are you defending this?" What am I defending? I'm calling you out for being a pedo. So I say, "I'm not the one at 17 messaging a 13-year-old girl weirdly. How are you defending that?" Dr. Disrespect has. Then he types out a very long message saying, "By creating accounts with these types of names, you continue to promote the real sick people of these groups." The real sick people being you? It's not like I'm promoting them on YouTube like a f***ing product. All of that was very random, so I just put question marks. Then he says, "You could have made an account to spam," and calls me a hypocrite for quote-unquote attacking him. Buddy, how am I a hypocrite? Here's my reaction real time to him saying that. What the f is this guy on about? I could tell he was going off track into nowhere, so I once again reminded him that he is fully in the wrong here. I haven't done anything wrong in this situation, and once again I repeated what I said earlier, saying that he is 17 trying to ERP with a 13-year-old girl, adding on that he also asked which condo game we should join, and he says, "Do you really think trolling is gonna help this or what?" Which I haven't really trolled him at all, I've just been asking questions, but I just went along with it saying, "It spreads awareness to the horrible people like you," and he put a question mark and says, "Why are you doing this?" So I right away say, "Did I not just say?" And he says, "Yeah." Why ask if— Then he says, "Do you really think I do this every day?" Which I responded with, "You do it enough that you would stoop this low, ERPing with a 13-year-old. It also doesn't matter if you do it every day, what you were gonna do is illegal. It's like going up to Dr. Disrespect and he says, do you really think I talk to minors every day? That doesn't help your situation. The problem is that you even talk to them once at your age. Anyway, let's get back at it. He then says, are you sure? I mean, differences in cultures. So I ask, what exactly is your culture? Which he doesn't respond and says, traditions from different countries or continents. Here's my next headache check. What the f? This guy is actually giving me a headache. What type of sick tradition are you on about? My tradition says I have to talk to minors on Roblox. And yes, I do get there are some damning laws out there making it perfectly legal for this to happen, for God knows why. But he never says where he's from, so I say, you, to my knowledge, isn't from a country that allows ERPing with a 13-year-old girl at 17. And he straight up tries to call me dumb after that, saying, you are in school or you don't know how people work. You didn't see how people are. So I right away respond with, normal people don't ERP with 13-year-olds at 17. Then the epic, amazing special guest joined. So I called him right away and this is what happened when he picked up. Dude, I'm losing my mind. It's just been a back and forth saying this is wrong and illegal, and he's like, no it isn't. After that slight breakdown, Trav says, so you like them young? Which the pred says, I'm young. And I explained to Trav that the predator is trying to justify having sex with a 13-year-old at 17 since they are both technically minors. So this guy's basically saying a 17-year-old can do sexual stuff with a 6-year-old because they're both technically minors. Fucking disgusting. Anyway, back to the messages. Trav then says, a 17-year-old preying on a 13-year-old. 4-year gap. And asks, do you think what you're doing is wrong in any way? And the predator responds with, well, not responding, but saying something random. You really expect someone like that to play something like this? The predator also added on, someone of that age, which it didn't click in my head that he was talking about year olds playing this type of game, so I say, you didn't answer the question, and yes, I've seen people 27 plus playing these games, but I've also seen young people playing these games because of predators poisoning their minds at a young age, which I mention again later on in the video. Trav again asks, do you think what you're doing is wrong in any way? And the says, if it were real, it would be bad. That's like saying the Inhi situation just over a month ago isn't bad because it was online. Very stupid reasoning from this guy. So Trav says, you are still communicating with a real person, which the pedo says, ah. Then Trav says, it's a real girl behind the screen. Then the predator once again says some random shit saying, I could explain to you some things so that you wouldn't understand. You can claim that it's fake because it's online, and it's not in real life, but it's still a real person behind the screen. And the predator once again says some random shit saying, it's not for something called RP, and says the most random stupid thing yet saying, so it's forbidden to do this, bro's acting like it's forbidden love. And then says, let me ask you something. I say sure, and he asks me how old I am. So I just stick with because I know what he's gonna say if I say I'm any older. He's gonna try justifying what he did by saying, oh, it wasn't actually a 13-year-old girl, so I didn't do anything wrong. He then says, haha, very funny. Then Trav says, for all we know, you could be a lot older than 17. The predator then ignores Trav and says to me, for someone of that age knows a lot about this subject. How do you know this? So I say, from people like you corrupting children's minds. Because sadly, that does happen on Roblox more than you think. Then the predator responded to what Trav said, but says, hey, I'm not talking to you. No. I then say that me and Trav are both a part of the conversation and that you are talking to both of us. The predator is blind, I guess, and then just goes back to what he was saying before. How do you know this? The predator then randomly starts asking for Trav's age. Hey Trav, how old are you? So Trav just says, that's not relevant. Then a friend Trav has randomly joined. How so?
Body, get out!
Then the predator tried to get Trav to say his age by saying, if age and contact are so important to you, you won't be afraid to say it. So I ask, how does this matter to the context of the situation? You at 17 messaging a 13-year-old girl weirdly. The predator once again ignores the questions we give and says, come on Trev, tell me something that will convince me. Then the predator says, there are like lawyers or something, if you are as legal as you say. So I ask, answer exactly what? You haven't given us a question, unless he's talking about his age. The predator then says, say it. Then Trav asks, what does my age have to do with this? And the predator finally answers a question and says, because it's the same reason you're attacking me. So I said, we are attacking you because what you were gonna do is illegal. Us existing isn't illegal. But this predator is just on something else, because he goes right back at it saying, "Come on, Trav, tell us your age." So I start genuinely tweaking.
I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind.
Trav, for probably the 5th time today, says, "My age has nothing to do with you." And I ask, answer why you were messaging a 13-year-old like this. The predator cuts me off and says, "And what would happen if you were older than her?" I'm beyond confused on what this predator is trying to get at. Then, right after the last message the predator sent, he says, "That wouldn't be the same." Looks like he's contradicting himself in his own messages. The predator then says something in a different language and leaves. I try messaging him, "Don't run," and then... That was the most stupid, random, confusing predator I've ever seen in my life. I am so sorry if you got dumber after seeing that. Next video should be a banger. Follow my Twitter, and this is Srupl. Stay safe.